Every company out there, from the smallest startup to the biggest corporations we all know, runs on a set of rules. But what are these rules exactly? Who makes them up? And what happens when they get broken? Today, we're going to crack open the official rulebook for companies, governance.
You know, it's a pretty fundamental question when you think about it, and it applies to everything. Why do we even have rules? At the end of the day, they just give us the basic structure we need to get along and, well, get things done.
We learned this super early. Think back to school, right? The rules were there to create a safe place where we could actually learn something.
Then you get to the workplace, and those rules just kind of transform. They become procedures and deadlines, all the stuff that lets huge teams work together towards the same goal without everything turning into a mess.
And on a much bigger scale, in society, things like traffic laws are pretty much the only thing standing between a normal commute and total chaos.
So given that this kind of framework is fundamental to pretty much every other part of our lives, it's really no surprise that for companies, having a clear set of rules isn't just helpful, it's absolutely critical for their survival.
And this official rulebook that companies use has a specific name. It's called governance. So what does that word actually mean? At its heart, governance is just the system for how a company is directed and controlled. You can think of it like a framework built on three big pillars: the actual rules of the game, the way big decisions are made, and, this is a big one, clear lines of responsibility.
Now, here's the catch. Just having a rulebook isn't enough. Not even close. The quality of that rulebook and whether people actually follow it makes all the difference in the world. You've really got two sides of the coin here: good governance and, well, bad governance.
And this slide just lays out the massive difference. On one side, good governance creates trust. You've got clear rules, honest leaders, and people taking responsibility. But on the other side, bad governance is just chaos and corruption. Nobody's responsible, and that can lead to some really terrible outcomes for everyone. It's often the difference between a company that thrives for 100 years and one that collapses in a scandal.
So why should you and I care about all this? Because these rules are so much more than just a list of do this, don't do that tucked away somewhere. They have real power and a real impact on the world.
A really solid governance framework does four key things. It guides what people do by setting clear expectations for everybody. It stops bad behavior because there are actual consequences. It protects people from taking unnecessary risks. And by doing all of that, it builds the single most valuable thing a company can have: trust.
So who is actually being protected by all this? Well, as you can see, it's pretty much everyone involved. That protective shield covers the employees who build the products, the customers who buy them, the business itself, and even the community it's a part of. This brings us to a company's most basic responsibilities when it has good governance. Think of it like a four-step code of ethics. It all starts with the absolute baseline: follow the law. From there, it's about acting fairly, being honest with people, and finally, always taking responsibility for your actions.
So this whole conversation really boils down to one final crucial question.
Okay, so after seeing how governance creates order, protects people, and builds trust, let's just ask the question plainly. Do companies really need these rules?
The answer is simple. It's unambiguous. Yes, 1,000 times yes. Without them, you've got chaos, risk, and eventually failure. With them, you have a foundation for stability, growth, and real success.
And look, if you only take away two things from this, let it be this. Rules are the guide rails. They help a company navigate a really complex world. And responsibility? That's not just a suggestion. It's the engine that makes the whole system actually work.
So we'll leave you with this to think about. If you had the power to create one new rule that every single company in the world had to follow, what would that rule be? What's the one thing you believe would make the biggest positive impact?